Hey, good morning. How are you guys doing?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Oh, goodness, really phone. How are you guys, Olivia? How are you? Well, I am here, and what I'm going to do is first, let's see, share screen. Hello. Hey, you guys. How are you guys doing? Okay, I don't know how many was here last week, but I reviewed several topics that are from organic chemistry that will be on the test. So if you didn't listen to that video about what topics are going to be on there, make sure you go back and review that video. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over an exhaustive list of what is going to be on there. What I went over on last week was a short list, and then what I'm going to do this week, and give me just a second, I want you guys to start. I pulled up this document, and then while I'm looking at that document, I'm gonna go over maybe a few questions that you may see on the exam itself. So give me just a second so I can pull those questions up. And I did need, did I get share? There we go. Yes. So I'm going to go through this list, and I will post this. Don't worry, I'll post this in just a second, so that you guys can see as well as let me do that now. Let me see. Can I put it in an announcement? Topics list. All right, let me make sure it's on my desktop so that I can pull it up. All right, hold on just a second. I'm just putting this as an announcement so you guys can have it. All right, there we go. You guys should have the list. It should come through as that. Hello, hey Tara. Let me get back to the list. I just put it up on Canvas for you guys as an announcement. I don't want you guys to freak out. Last week when I went through the topics, like I said, go back and review that video on YouTube. I went through the topics list of what's going to be on there. What I did was, I know a few of my friends who also teach chemistry, they give the ACS exam too, and they gave me a list of stuff. So what I did was I went through their list and put some things on there. Now, when I reviewed last week, I was very specific about certain topics that are going to be on there, and I'll go over more of those and be more. This is a more extensive list. I can't per se tell you exactly what's going to be on the test, but the topics that is on this list is definitely on the test. And so I will try to give you some things. What I did was last week I sat down and I went through the book and said where these topics were located at in the book. So like I said, go through that and go through the book, go through that particular class and listen to that. And I've told you where you can find these in the book. So some of the questions. Just to go through the list, first of all, because I know some of you guys wasn't here, why carbon, electronic orbitals, orbitals in geometry, molecular structure. Not so much that is on there, but a question may be asked. But the main thing, what I'm going to scroll down, let me make my screen a little bigger. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, let me do this. Functional groups, multiple bonds, multiple bond fragments. They're going to talk about that. So let's talk about alkanes. So with the alkanes, you need to know nomenclature. Nomenclature is very important when it comes to this. That was one of the main topics that were on there for that. Knowing isomers, the alkyl groups, cyclic alkanes, cis and trans. Those are very important. The reaction, organic reactions, polar, electrophilic, nucleophilic, the radical reactions. Now, pericyclic reactions is not going to be on there, but sometimes they do include it on there. But I didn't see one that said anything about pericyclic reactions, so don't worry about that. But polar, radical, rates of reactions, those are going to be on there. The structure and nomenclature of alkenes, the nature of the double bond, the ZE isomer, conjugation and stability in the reactions. And what I'm doing is up under each one, alkenes, this is what we did in the book. Each one of those topics, when we talked about them in the book, we did talk about these topics up under them. So make sure you go back and look at some of these topics, and I'm gonna see some other thing. One of the other things that I want you guys to focus in on are the Newman projections. There may be a couple of questions on there by Newman projections. Dehydrohalogenation, dehydration, oxidation and reduction, the addition of radicals, other electrophiles. You need to know that. Under the alkenes, the same thing, hydration, hyboration, oxidation, reduction, acidity, carbon-based nucleophiles, nucleophilic reactions. A lot of that is going to be on there. Radical stability, nomenclature. I said that for all the functional groups. So every time I list the functional group, we're going to talk about nomenclature. So you've got to be familiar with the nomenclature of the functional groups. Transformations, how they change, the different types of reaction mechanisms. So I know at the beginning of the semester, I put down a thing on Canvas for the functional groups and the reaction mechanism. Make sure you go back over those and understand those. Those are very important. Stereochemistry. The nature of optical activity, optically active compounds. You need to know that. Chirality, nomenclature, those are very important. Yeah, I said that, I made mention of that. So that is on there. Alkyl halides, structured nomenclature, alkanes to olefins from alcohols. Now, those not so much the organometallic chemistry, the Grignards, the lithium reagents, and the cuprins. That's what we just went over on our last test. Also, substitution reactions. SN1, SN2, E1, and E2, substitution and elimination reaction. You need to know that. We discussed that in detail in class. So that is something that's definitely going to be asked on the exam. Just other things. A little bit of conjugation would be on there, not much. Benzene and the aromatic compounds definitely will going to be on there. So you need to understand the nomenclature, the structure, stability, molecular orbital theory around that. So the aromatics, the electrophilic aromatic substitution. Benzene do not do addition, they do substitution. Make sure you understand that. Halogenation, sulfonation, hydroxylation, those different types of reactions. Fieldcraft's alkylation and acylation. We just talked about that on the last test. So those are going to be on there. Halogenation, oxidation is going to be on there. I don't think any Birch reduction is going to be on there of polysubstituted benzene. Just know that is substituted. Alcohols and thiols, the nomenclature on that. We just going to deal with reactions of that. Know about leaving groups, nucleophiles and bases. We talked about that. It's not going to be any comparison to phenols. Esters, epoxides, sulfur, the nomenclatures of those. I'm trying to see. Ketones, that is something we just went over. And that the aldehydes and ketones, understanding the carbonyl group. So that's chapter 17 and 18 in your book. So understanding that, I'm just trying to get to alcohols, oxidation of that, Fieldcraft's acylation. We just went over that. And a lot of this, like I said, it repeats itself, but most of this we have went over. It's not going to be much on the amines group, not that much on there. I didn't see that. Carboxylic acids, a little bit. That's what was covered in 17 and 18. Fieldcraft's acylation, Grignards, that stuff. So, like I said, a lot of this repeat itself. What I do want to get enolates, that's going to be on there, a little bit of that. That's about it. What I do want to get to as well as far as topics, the spectroscopy, make sure you go back over that. There's going to be some questions about spectroscopy on there. What do you need to focus on when it comes to that? Know where your groups fall, where the functional groups fall in each one of these. That's what you really need to know. Where are the functional groups when it comes to each one of these? Where do they fall at on these particular spectrums? That's what you need to know. There are charts in the book. That's what you need to focus in on. Where are these functional groups and where are they located at? Questions that you guys have so far? Any questions? You can unmute yourself and open up if you got any questions. So like I said, I just posted this list. This is just a exhaustive list of the topics that can be covered on there. Like I said, what I went over last week would kind of zero in on where this is located at in the book. So I just wanted to make sure that you have some review topics so you'll know. But if you go through that presentation, that gives you where they're at in the book, since I've already went over that. Okay, I'm gonna pause for just a couple of minutes because I need to go check on the kids because they're here, but they upstairs quietly. Let me check them, then I'm gonna come back and then we're going to talk about real quickly the type of questions you're going to see. So I'm gonna pull up a PowerPoint where I'm gonna just put these are the types of questions you're gonna see on there. So that's what we just gonna go over today, the types of questions and how to answer them because it's just going to be multiple choice. So that's the types of questions you will see on the test. So give me just a second. I'll be right back. Oh, guys, sorry about that. I just had to get the kids straight for a minute. Let me do a share screen real quick for you guys. And let's see. I'm trying to find some questions. All right, let me share it. And let me smaller this just a little bit so you guys can see that. Okay, so let's just say I am going through and looking at different questions. So some of the questions I may ask, and let me make this. I'm trying to make it smaller, but I'm trying to make it bigger. Okay. So the types of questions. So for example, for stereochemistry, the type of questions that you may see is this: the spatial orientation of the atoms of molecule is called as what? An object that has no element of symmetry is called what? Is it tetrahedral, achiral, symmetric, asymmetric? These are the type of questions you're going to see. Um, and this is just on stereochemistry. This is just one of the topics that is on there about stereochemistry. Stereoisomers differ from each other in what respect? This is the type of question not only would you see on a ACS exam, you will see a question like this on the MCAT as well. So these are the types of questions you're going to be looking at and looking for. Let's see, what's the following must be true for optically active compound? I said those are one of the topics. These are the types of questions. What can I do to tell you what they are? What are enantiomers? What conformation of cyclohexane has a C3 axis of symmetry? These are questions that you guys have seen before or you are kind of familiar with or something that you should already know because these are things we have discussed in class. And these are just 9 questions. How many stereogenic centers on there? Um, so what I want you to be aware of, and what I'll do is, I think this is about 8 or 9 questions just from stereochemistry. And like number 9 is a Fisher projection that has Fisher projections and stuff in it. These are the type of questions that I want you to expect and be able to answer on the exam. Um, Go through the ACS book. If you got the ACS book, go through that book and look at questions that are in there. It is broken down into sections. Topics that I have given you are topics that are covered in that study guide. That's what I want you to look at and really review. Like I said, I may put together a document or something to just give you an idea. But what I can tell you is you can go and Google ACS final exam questions. You can go out there and Google that, and you will see some example questions out there. There are a couple of websites that some people have put together, and I'm going to recommend them to you guys, and I'm gonna pull them up in a minute to tell you what would be the best way to study in addition to the book. So what I told you was go through your book. There are different topics that are out there. Um, um, Google ACS organic chemistry questions. That'll be a good way so you can see the type of questions. What I wanted to do today is give you the more extensive list of the topics, but also to really just go over what's going to be on there, what types of questions are going to be on there. And this is just 9 questions that, that's what I told you. Boat, twist boat, chair, envelope. These are questions. What are enantiomers? These are the same types of questions that you will see on there. Now, if I gave you guys these questions or questions like this, do you think you will be able to answer them? So that's my question to you guys. Um, Speak up. You can unmute yourself. I want to hear your thoughts. And this is just on stereochemistry. So If I gave you some of these questions, would you be able to answer those? You guys can speak. You can unmute yourself. Oh, I'm writing on the document. I'm trying to type a message. I'm crazy. Hello, everybody. Are y'all okay? Sydney said yes. Anybody else? Would you be able to answer questions like this? You guys, I am going to try my best to make the test as fair as possible. I am. Like I said, what I did was I went through. I've been talking to some of my other friends. I am putting the test together. I'm pretty much almost done with it. But I just want you guys to feel confident now in answering questions like this. And I'm trying to point you in directions of how can I best prepare for this? And really, honestly, I've been where you've been. I've taken these tests before because I majored in chemistry. So in order, like I said, for me to study for the test, and like I said, I've been going back to talk to former classmates who also teach chemistry as well and all of that. Uh, what we did was went through the book. I mean, we went pretty much chapter by chapter, the main topics, and we found old exams. Um, and I'll tell you one that is really good. ACS make what they call these Olympiad exams. They're mostly for high school, but they put a little bit of organic on there because they go over a little bit of organic, but they really frame together the test and how they ask questions. So if you see the Olympiad exams, those would be good ones to really look at to kind of get you ready for that. Now, this is from just stereochemistry. Let me see if I got some other ones that could be kind of helpful for you guys. Hold on just a second. Let's see. Oh, yeah, these are some good ones right here. Let me. Um, what I'm going to do, I got this one, and these are some ones. This is just from stereochemistry. I'm just going to add a few questions to this document while I'm on it, and I'll make it smaller. And these are some other ones that I just seen. And this is from spectroscopy. And let me move my screen out the way. Let's look at these right here. These are 4 that are from the spectroscopy. Questions you will see would be something like this. Which tool would be used for distinguishing a sample of 1,1,1,2,2 trichloropropane from this one, from the different ones, and you would have to pick out which spectroscopy would be the best one. So looking at compounds, that's why I said when you go back to spectroscopy and look at them, um, really look at which tool would be best. Those are the type of questions they were asked. They were asked which tools would be best. They were also asked questions as to where would you find certain functional groups on like FTIR. I've seen plenty of questions like that on those exams. So what about these? These are the type of questions that I want you to kind of be prepared for. And these are just ones that I've seen on different sites. So which two would be best? So those are the type of questions they will ask you. Let me see if there are any more. And then I'll tell you some sites that you guys can go to and study, so that you can look at those. I think these are, and I'm gonna copy two more. Um, and I want you to take a look at these questions here. They are asked what type of CH has the highest stretching frequency in the infrared spectrum. And then this is where I say you have to know where those functional groups and where they lie at on infrared. In your book, I got to see if I got my binder. And I'll tell you exactly where to look for that. In infrared, I'm trying to find my binder. Hold on just a second. I have to put my stuff up from the kids because they like to look at my books. I can't find it, but if you look in the chapter on infrared, there's a chart toward the front, and it tells you where all the groups fall for infrared. Please know that. That is very important. Know that chart. Know where groups, what groups fall where in different wave numbers on infrared. So that's what they're looking at. So which functional group has the lowest frequency in the infrared spectrum? These are the different functional groups. Know where they fall at on infrared. Those are going to be good questions to look at. Good places and good types of questions. Websites, before I get off of here with you guys, websites where you can go and actually find different things. Let me see here. And I'm gonna open up a screen. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let me open up a screen for you guys. And okay. Questions about the types of questions. And what I may do is the document that I have, you guys have seen some of those questions. And so what I want you to do, look at the topic list. Go in and let me do my share screen real quick with you guys. New share. And what I'm going to do is just type in ACS, and that's what I've been doing, final study guides, practice exams, PDFs. Look for those. That's what I would do, practice exams, and go from there. And you can find different types of problems. And I would just scroll through. A lot of this Chegg have stuff. I don't know if anybody have Chegg. This is just what is this? ACS doing their own thing. Prepping for your exam. You can just scroll through and find different ones. They just showing the books. Uh, YouTube has nomenclature review. I've looked at a few of those. Those are some good reviews. So look at that, especially the nomenclature. Some of that will be on there. Some other sites that are on there to look for some good questions. Some people have old exams and different things. I would go and look at some of those, but there's some, Quizlet has some ACS exams and study exams and stuff for that, for the ACS finals. So look on those. Some people have put together some questions based on that. That's what I would do, you guys. Get your book, go through your study guide book. That's the first place I would do. I would go through my book, the book that you have, and do that. And then I have showed you types of questions. Even if you got an MCAT book, if you got an MCAT book and look at some of the questions on the MCAT, some of those same types of questions will also be on ACS. Because to really be honest, a lot of those people that write the questions for the MCAT also write questions for the ACS as well. So a lot of times they swap questions and stuff like that. So just a little insider hint on that. So go through, uh, look at the topics, review that the class from last Wednesday where I went over the topics. Those topics that I went over was a little bit more honed in on what you need to look at for the exam. Uh, don't panic. This is what I don't want you to do. Don't panic. You guys are very, very smart. You guys study very hard. You got this. So I don't want you to freak out. I do not want you to panic. It is not going to be as hard as you think. Just go through study, go through your study guide, do what, like I said, go ACS final exam chemistry, and go study. There are websites out there you can go study, look at the different types of questions. Some people even have questions online that you can look at and practice and study. Look at the YouTube videos, go back through what you have done, exams and different things like that. Because the questions, you guys know the material. You guys have seen the material, you know the material. And that's pretty much it. So that is my guide to you is go and do that. Look for the types of questions. The types of questions are also in the study guide. And like I said, I just showed you a few of the questions that those are the types of questions that you probably will see on the exam. Like I said, you will see that on ACS. You probably will see that on MCATs, GRE. Those are the type of questions that they expect for you to be able to answer. If you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. But I think you guys should be able to answer those. Like I said, go through your book, know your functional groups, know your spectroscopy, acid bases, your redox reactions, electrophilic and nucleophilic substitutions, all of that, the stuff that we talked over, like every chapter we were going over, it seemed like we were going over the same thing. That is going to be important. Think about it. If I sit up there and talked about dehalogenation, dehydrogenation, hydroboration, all of those topics are very important. So make sure you go through that and understand that. That's all what I have. Like I said, free radical reactions. I'm trying to think HNMR, spectral data analysis. I'm just trying to see if there's any other topics, but acid, bases, enantiomers, the reaction mechanisms, study those, you'll be fine. If you got any questions or anything, just let me know. Questions that you might have right now, while you got me now. If you got any questions, let me know. Any other, how are you guys feeling? That's what I want to know. Turn my video off, kids, or let me turn my video off. How are you guys, as far as everything? I want to hear from you guys. How are you guys doing? How do you guys feel about going into this? Talk to me.
I feel pretty pretty good. I don't know.
Okay.
Not too bad.
Okay. Like I said, I am going to try my best not to make this hard. But like I said, the types of questions, I have to put the test as if you are taking a standardized test. That's what I've been charged to do, told to do, and that's what I have to do. I would love to make it easier, but I can't. And I don't want to, and that's because I know you guys want to go to med school, y'all want to go to grad school and everything, and I myself want to make sure that you guys are prepared for that. So I don't want to make it easy for you. I just want to make it fair so that you know that, y'all going to be good when y'all get out there into the world and do things. So maybe one day, I may be one of your patients or something. So I want to make sure you know what you know and that you have learned it. So that is my thing. And so that's what I just want to make sure. So I've heard from Jenna. How about everybody else? Everybody else been quiet. So I know Sydney says she'll be good on questions. What about everybody else?
I have a real quick question.
Okay.
You might have already said it. I showed up kind of late. How will it be standardized? Will it be through it'll be on Canvas?
Yes, it's going to be on Canvas. What I have to do is, I have to give you questions that mimic a standardized exam. That's what I will have to do.
Oh, okay.
Now, it's not a standardized exam, but it has to mimic that. So
Okay.
that's why I said the types of questions that are going to be on there is going to look like what's in your book. Olivia, I am thinking your test, I think you guys' test is that Monday. I'm going to check the exam schedule and make sure. Let me take a look at that. It's either Monday or Wednesday, but I will put an announcement out and let you know. So it may be Monday, it may be Wednesday. Because I know I got every class I got an exam every day. So let me double check. I'm thinking it's Monday or Wednesday. I'm thinking you guys, wasn't last semester you guys' exam was on Monday? Do you guys remember? But I'll check, hold on. Oh, she said okay, let me see. Let me go to my UM and see if they got it posted anywhere. Hold on, I'll find it. Hold on just a second. I'll let you know. Don't worry, I'll let you know. I have to look in my email. and see, can I find it? Jenna, you said, what was your question? Did I answer your question? Was it okay? Did I answer it?
Yes, ma'am, you did.
Okay. Let me, I'm gonna try to find this real quick. I don't know.
Oh, one more thing that doesn't involve the final, but for our presentations of our research paper, instead of doing the voiceover, could we write what we were going to say like in the notes? Because I know some of us couldn't figure out how to make it voiceover.
Oh, like in PowerPoint?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I can show you guys that while I am actually online. So let me do that, and that would be fine. I'm just trying to see if anybody would have an issue with that, because I guess let me see. I don't want to say yes exactly, but let me show you how to do that. I'm trying to find an exam schedule. Let me find it. You guys' final exam is Monday, May 4th. So y'all exam is Monday at 9:30. So just had to pull that up. So it's Monday at 9:30. Now let me go to PowerPoint real quick. And I'll pull up any PowerPoint. I'll pull up biochem. Okay. Let me share my screen and then I'll show you guys how to do it. Okay. And so everybody see my screen. I got my biochem. Y'all make sure y'all in biochem buy this book. What you guys need to do when you go to this, because some of you guys got Macs, and with the Macs, they work a little different when you're doing the PowerPoint. And ooh, I was just playing on one last night because I was showing somebody else how to do it for theirs. And I can walk you through it. But what it is that if you have PC or even on a Mac, what you can do is you hit record slideshow. With the Mac, you gotta have your slideshow already done, because what it does is once you do it and when you hit record, you have to walk all the way through it. It doesn't back you out, because I was playing with it last night. So you got to have your PowerPoint done, and then on your Macs, when you hit record, it's just going to go through. On a PC, you can hit record slideshow, and you can just say record from current slide. And when you do that, it pulls up like this, and you will even see this a little bit on the Mac. On the Mac, it just has pause instead of stop. And then what you do is you just hit record, and then on the PC, it counts down. And then you can just start talking. Today, we're going to go over essential biochem. This is chapter number 13. And that's what you pretty much do for that. It's fine to have your notes. To have your notes up under there. That is okay. I don't have a problem with that. I think the thing is because you guys have to do a presentation, the voiceover would be like you doing a presentation there. And so I am just trying to do that to make sure that you still present it, and that even though you're not there physically, your voice was still heard on the presentation. So I prefer for you to do the voiceover. Now, what I can do, how many of you guys, most of you guys use Max, right? Yes, I think most of you guys use Max. Let me, I got somebody close that can bring me their computer, and then I can walk you guys through how to do it on the Mac. I just did this last night, and I recorded something using somebody's Mac last night. And if I'm not mistaken, you have to have your PowerPoint done first, because it just goes through it. It doesn't, it stops, but it's really weird on how to do it on every slide. It just goes straight through. So get your PowerPoint done. If you want to put notes on there, that's fine. And then what I'll do is I'll get somebody to loan me their Mac book. And what I'll do is I'll go through and put some steps on how to do it really quickly. I'll text them really quick and see, can they bring it, so I can do that for you guys. I can do that. But yes, if you want to put down what you say in there as a backup, that's perfectly fine, but I will prefer for it to be an actual voiceover presentation. And that's just because of requirements for SACs and all of that. So if I assign it that way, and this is the way, I just want to make sure that I'm covered on that. So that's just what that is. I don't know, but I think it'll go over better that way, just in case. So let me get the Mac, and I will walk you guys through or write some notes on how to record it. So I will definitely do that for you guys. Other questions that you guys may have? Are you guys good on everything else? Your exam is Monday, the 4th at 9:30. The exam is going to have approximately 70 questions on there. So 70 questions, 9:30. The test is going to be only open for that day. So just as long as you, I don't know if they want us just to have it open for that amount of time. I'll talk with Dr. Craig. My plan is I'm going to open it up at 9:30. You need to be finished. It's going to have a time limit on there like the rest of the tests have been. Just as long as it's taken by 11:59 that night. That's what my plan is. It's going to open at 9:30. It's going to be closed by 11:59 that night. That's it. It's going to be 70 questions on there, and that's how it's going to look. So 9:30 is going to open at 9:30 that morning. It's going to close that evening at 11:59 that night. So that's what I'm going to do. Other questions that you guys may have? But if that's all, send me an email if you got other questions. We will talk more on Wednesday about more of the type of questions that you will see. Let me get somebody to bring their Mac to me, and I will walk you guys through, or just put some notes on and post an announcement on how to put the video, do the voiceover via the Mac. So I will do that for you guys. Let me get on that, and I'll get that done, and hopefully I'll get it put up by this evening. Let me do that. Any other questions or anything, feel free to shoot me an email and everything, and I'll get back to you guys. All right, I gotta go because I think I got some kids that are about to get out of hand. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one, you guys. Stay safe.